All right, amateur scouts here. I'm going to talk about the lottery of the 2011 NBA draft, and more specifically, 10 players who I think are lottery locks. And the way I break down this draft is that it's a draft without a blue chipper, but there's a lot of guys who could be pretty damn good. But every single one of them has either a red flag, multiple red flags, or at the very least, a ton of projection that needs to be made in terms of figuring out what type of player they're going to be. Even at the top, Kyrie Irving and Derrick Williams both get talked a lot as sort of being the two blue chippers in this draft, but both these players do have a couple red flags themselves. Kyrie Irving, for me, it's the foot. He's going to have to play with some sort of device in his shoe as a rookie. I mean, that's not really being talked about a lot, but that's definitely concerning. He missed pretty much his entire freshman season, so he's only got 11 non-high school games on his resume. He's not that elite athlete who can just sort of dominate with his physical ability. A lot of who he is the sort of cerebral type, but the lack of experience sort of leads me to believe that there might be some growing pains with Kyrie Irving, and that isn't really being talked about much. Derrick Williams, a tweener, that is talked about. He's a forward. Is he a 3? Is he a 4? He thinks he's a 3, but he has got over 10% body fat, and also he's got that 9-foot standing reach that for me is the magic number for to be able to play the 4. So I think he is going to end up a stretch 4. It looks like he's got the size for that position. Might not be a great rebounder there. Might not be the best defender there, but I think he could be a good scoring 4. He can protect him a little bit with the big shot blocker. I think Washington would love him, but there's no chance they get a chance at him without making some sort of big deal. So yeah, he's got his issues too. After that, the next two guys on my list are Brandon Knight and Enes Kanter. Brandon Knight I really like. Heading into the college basketball season, I actually liked him more than Kyrie Irving as an NBA prospect, simply because he's a little bigger. He's a better athlete. He's a better shooter. And then just this past year, he stayed healthy. Kyrie Irving played 11 games, had slightly better numbers, less turnovers and so forth. But with Brandon Knight, you're talking about a much larger sample size. And he was a freshman leading Kentucky into, I believe it was the Final Four when he lost to Kemba Walker, who was just on fire. And if you look at Brandon Knight's numbers compared to the recent point guards that have come out, you even go back to Chris Paul and Derrick Williams and look at their numbers as freshmen. I mean, Brandon Knight's freshman numbers are damn good, and Calipari's raved about his work ethic, how he's the first one in the gym, last one to leave. He's a future leader. He's got all the intangibles. He's incredibly young. He's almost a full year younger than Kyrie Irving. I mean, there's a lot to like here. For me, he's the guy with 0 red flags, but there's just a whole lot of projection, mainly due to just his age. Enes Kanter, good size, strong, moves well, very skilled, barely played. This is a guy who he had that great game at the Hoop Summit about a year ago, was not allowed to play through no fault of his own, in my opinion. There were some knee questions, but those seem to have died down, so I don't think folks are all too worried about him in that regard. He's a high floor, high ceiling guy. Might be slow out of the gate, just due to the fact that he hasn't played much like Kyrie Irving. But he's a guy, he's going to be a high post threat in the NBA. He's going to be able to defend his position at least adequately, and he's going to be able to rebound the ball well. And that makes him a starter in the NBA, and I think there's the potential that he could be such a scorer that he's, possibly a potential all-star type. So I do like Enes Kanter. Kawhi Leonard is the 5th guy on my board. This is a guy that scouts really like. You're talking about a late bloomer who's extremely motivated and possesses all the physical tools. He was the man at at his university, elite rebounder for a swing. He's a guy who can lock down either the 2 or the 3. And he's just been a gym rat since the season ended. He's already apparently improved his jump shot and ball handling significantly, working with Chauncey Billups at the Impact School. And those are his 2 major holes, and he's been addressing them. And if he can sort of turn those weaknesses into at least decent traits, he's got a chance to be a great all-around small forward in a league where there aren't too many. So I do like Kawhi Leonard, and I think he could go to the Raptors if none of those first 4 guys are there. So he could go as high as 5 in the draft. Kemba Walker, Jedi Master, I like to call him. This guy has just mastered his skill set. He's mastered himself. He's a leader. He's got great quickness. He plays the game with an incredible pace and passion. His shot's been improving steadily, and he just was in charge of the game throughout his college career, and he won that tournament pretty much single-handedly. So I do like Kemba Walker. His size will limit him a little bit. I think, the right situation, I think Sacramento would be perfect, where he can be sort of that leader and winner. He can kind of take, Tyreek and Cousins under his wing and sort of be the third, guy from a production standpoint, but take that team and make it his own. Tristan Thompson, I think he'll go in that 7 to 10 range. He got that magic number of 9 in a standing reach, so he does have the size to play the 4 in the NBA. And that was the big concern with him. He's got an incredible motor. He never stops. I watched a ton of Texas games. The guy was just battling for position in the post nonstop, even if he didn't touch the ball for the entire shot clock. He never stops. Elite rebounder, busts his tail, really raw offensively. But I think at worst he's a hustle big. Even without the development of an offensive game, he's a hustle big. I think the Knicks would really like to get their hands on him. Just a good big man in the NBA. And then you got your 3 sort of international bigs, if you will. They've yet to be measured, so there's a lot more projection at this point. But Jonas Valunciunas, great length, good athlete, all-around type. Bit of a longer Ed Davis. He can do a lot of things, not anything particularly well, but, there's room for growth, and he has the potential to develop into that center size, which he doesn't have quite yet. Bismack Biyombo, obviously interesting, 7'7" wingspan. He's got those quick ups. I don't know what his vertical is, but he gets up quick. He's got incredibly long arms. The guy's going to block shots. I think he's a Joel Anthony type. He's strong. He's just active, athletic, big man, and he could be a little foul prone, so he might be sort of better as an off-the-bench type. Finally, there's Jan Vesely, who apparently Colangelo really likes for the Raptors at 5. According to Chad Ford, he's a forward, fantastic athlete, fantastic length. He's a bit like a Perry Jones, kind of European Perry Jones a little bit, but he hits his free throws like Shaq did, so he's got his red flags as well. Anyways, those are my top 10 guys, or at least the 10 guys that I think will go top 10 in this year's draft. And I hope you enjoyed, and leave a comment.